The Road to Success official presents How to Control Your Mind. Go Thought. This motivational story of Monk and the Beautiful Girl. Once upon a time, there was a young monk who lived in a monastery deep in the mountains. He had devoted his life to meditation and spiritual practice, striving to reach enlightenment and control his mind. One day, as he was walking through the forest, he came across a beautiful girl crying by the side of the road. "What's wrong?" the monk asked. "I've lost my way," the girl replied. "I was on my way to the village, but I got lost in the woods. Can you help me?" The monk hesitated for a moment, knowing that monks were not supposed to have contact with women, especially beautiful ones. But he saw the distress in her eyes and felt a sense of compassion for her. "Of course," he said, "I'll help you find your way." He took her by the hand and led her through the forest, guiding her through the dense underbrush and over rocky terrain. As they walked, he could feel his mind starting to wander, his thoughts drifting away from his meditation practice. He tried to bring his mind back to the present moment, focusing on the sound of the girl's footsteps and the feel of her hand in his. But the more he tried to control his mind, the more it seemed to slip away from him. Finally, they reached the edge of the forest, and the girl thanked the monk for his help. "I am grateful to you," she said. "You are a true gentleman and a kind soul." The monk smiled, feeling a sense of satisfaction and pride in his good deed. But as he walked back to the monastery, he couldn't shake the feeling that he had failed in his spiritual practice. He went to his teacher, a wise old monk who had spent many years in meditation and contemplation. "Master," he said, "I helped a beautiful girl who was lost in the woods. But as we walked, I found it hard to control my mind, and my thoughts wandered away from my meditation practice. Have I failed in my spiritual journey?" The old monk smiled. "My dear student," he said, "you have not failed. You have learned an important lesson in controlling your mind." He went on to explain that the mind is like a wild horse, constantly running off in different directions. But with practice, we can learn to rein in our thoughts and focus our attention on the present moment. "Remember," he said, "it is not enough to simply control your mind. You must also cultivate compassion and kindness in your heart. That is the true path to enlightenment." The young monk nodded, feeling a sense of clarity and understanding. From that day on, he continued his meditation practice with renewed vigor, but he also made a conscious effort to be kind and compassionate to those around him. He realized that controlling his mind was not just about self-discipline, but also about cultivating a sense of empathy and understanding for others. And as he continued on his journey, he found that his mind became more focused and his heart more open, leading him ever closer to the path of enlightenment. Years passed, and the young monk became an old and wise monk himself, renowned throughout the land for his compassion, wisdom, and spiritual insight. One day, as he was walking through the village, he saw the same beautiful girl he had helped many years ago. She was now a woman, and she was surrounded by a group of men who were jeering and taunting her. The monk approached them and asked what was going on. The men laughed and said that the woman was a witch who had cast a spell on their village, and they were going to burn her at the stake. The monk was horrified. He knew that the woman was innocent, and that the men were acting out of fear and ignorance. He stepped forward and spoke in a calm and compassionate voice. "My friends, there is no need for violence. This woman is not a witch. She is a human being just like you and me. She is lost and confused, and she needs our help, not our hatred." The men were taken aback by the monk's words. They had never heard someone speak with such conviction and compassion. Slowly, they began to lower their torches and back away from the woman. The monk took the woman by the hand and led her to safety. He sat with her for hours, listening to her story and offering her comfort and support. And as he sat with her, he realized that the lesson he had learned so many years ago had come full circle. He had learned to control his mind and cultivate compassion, not just for himself, but for others as well. In that moment, he knew that his spiritual journey was not just about his own enlightenment, but about helping others find their way as well. He spent the rest of his life traveling the land, helping those in need and spreading the message of love and compassion. And though he faced many challenges and hardships along the way, he never forgot the lesson he had learned from the beautiful girl in the woods. That controlling the mind is not just about self-discipline, but about cultivating a sense of empathy and understanding for others, and that true enlightenment comes not from isolation, but from connection and compassion for all beings. Thank you. Continue your journey with success and stay blessed.